The party is happening in Madrid. They are welcoming home the World Cup winners. This has been so much fun. This tournament has been so much fun to watch. So many incredible moments, so many absolutely insane behind-the-scenes shots, all taken by our own Maria Martin, who is there every single step of the day. Maria, this was insane. Like, following your Instagram and Twitter was a must during this tournament. It was so cool.
Thanks, that's so sweet. I'm really concerned about the people in Spain, though, because have they gone to bed?
No, I do not think they have gone to bed. And you can see it on their faces. They're all just, like, gleeful. It's amazing.
They're just on vibes, and honestly, the coffee is fantastic in Europe,
True.
I'm sure they're drinking a lot of that. But it's just been a summer of memories that I will truly never forget, Caitlin, and it's been such a joy to have people from every corner of the globe come to our city and bring it alive in a way that we haven't seen in a long time. Because I know the Olympics was here, and people still talk about the Olympics now to this day. I think the World Cup is going to have that same impact for years and years and years to come. And it's just so different. I've been trying to explain it to people all summer, and I've had people texting me, I had no interest in soccer before following your content this summer. It's different when it's here on American soil, because you do get close to it. You know, when it was in Qatar, not a lot of Americans were flying there to participate in the World Cup, mostly because the men have not been great historically, but now you have an opportunity to see the best teams, best players in the world here on American soil. It's been unforgettable.
It was so cool to see your behind the scenes perspective.
Thanks.
Because you have this depth of sports knowledge, but then you're also bringing the excitement there. You were in Atlanta Stadium when this was happening. Give us some behind the scenes stories.
I mean, it's unbelievable. You know, something that'll stick with me for a long time. We were talking about my video that went super viral, but when Messi, that moment, like going up to that moment, you knew something was going to happen with Argentina. I could feel it. And I've shot sports for a long time. It's an instinct. I don't think it's a learned skill. And it takes a really long time to know when these moments are happening in real time. And, you know, if you miss it, you miss it.
Right.
And I just knew Messi was isolating on the right side of the pitch, and I could see him walking around by himself. And I just had this gut feeling that something was about to happen. And so I just followed him for a second. I mean, there's probably 30 seconds of video before he actually assisted that goal, which was ultimately what saved Argentina. It was truly, Jordan's pulling it up right now.
Yeah.
It was truly one of the wildest things I've ever captured.
Boom! Like, you were in the perfect position.
Oh, thanks.
You were truly in the perfect position. It
Okay,
was
here it is.
unreal.
Jordan's doing all the magic. I mean, I can't even describe.
Truly the most beautiful goal.
And what I think I've tried to prove here, so first of all, obviously, Lionel didn't kick the ball into the net. He just had the assist, but all of the players went to Lionel first.
Right.
And then they celebrated with Martinez, who actually did have the game winner, or not, well, it ultimately ended up being the game winner, but just the goal in general right there. And I tried to give you the full breadth of how the stadium was breathing and acting in that moment. And even capturing this on video, I mean, you could see the emotion. People were complaining that everyone was on their phones. No, I was one of the few people that had their phones out, honestly. People were just enjoying the moment with their families. And this is very different than pretty much any sport that I cover, honestly. And I cover them all. I've been to every major sporting event. And the magnitude of this, I can't understate how insane it is.
Unreal. Tell me about the fans. What were the fans like in the stadium?
Oh, they were incredible. I've never heard Mercedes-Benz Stadium that loud. I mean, the decibels even from Haiti scoring their first World Cup goal in over 50 years, I mean, I thought that the roof was going to blow off of that place. I mean, the same thing anytime Argentina, what's really unique about Argentina specifically is that their supporters are so wide-ranging. So it's not just people that come from Argentina. I mean, they're from every corner of the globe. And they showed up in droves. And what they do is they really do affect a match. I mean, I've never heard noise levels like that in my life. And I've covered a lot of sports. I think SEC football is about as loud as it gets. And I still think this was louder.
Wow.
It was truly something incredible. The fans were amazing, though. I mean, I talked to fans that were from all different corners of the globe that felt so fortunate to be in the building. It was cool, like getting to take their pictures with their families and reminiscing on what this moment. You see people crying. I mean, it means so much more to these people than I think people actually realize. You know, you go in there, yes, it's very expensive and you spend a lot of money to go. That's not where the emotions are coming from. It's coming for country pride, playing for your country, playing for something bigger than yourself. It's such a beautiful event this summer. I was so excited to be there.
Yeah, it was so cool to see, you know, both perspectives, both the sports side and just the mastery of the sport and how incredible these players are, but then the excitement from people who really put their heart and their soul into this. And part of that is the heartbreak.
I know.
The teams who lost, can you bring us that side of it a little bit? Like the people who just put their all into making this an incredible event and then they didn't end up with the win?
You know, there's so many reasons. I could go on a million tangents, Caitlin, about why sports is so important. And, you know, I think that's lost on a lot of people. But when you are reminded of it at this scale in the World Cup, that is exactly why. Sports illustrates everything that life has to offer. There are so many correlations between team sports and our lives. The heartbreak, the joy, we all experience the same things that athletes do. And everyone can identify with working so hard towards something and falling short of the goal. And you put your heart and soul into it. That's why these emotions are pouring out of these players, because they work 4 years for this moment. I mean, the World Cup, it's just like the Olympics. It happens every 4 years. And so imagine putting everything that you have into a moment and falling just short. And with soccer in particular, unless it's like a crazy blowout, which doesn't normally happen, you typically are about a goal away from getting there.
Close.
And you're so close so many times. You saw even, I hate to keep bringing up Argentina, but you saw them be very, very close. I think Spain was always going to beat them. They were the better team throughout the entire tournament. But they had this extra magic where Argentina couldn't go away. And they were even that much closer to actually winning the title. I still think that the right team won. You know, Spain was fantastic all tournament long, and ultimately winners do prevail themselves. But I do just think there were so many correlations between every single walk of life that we go through. And so I think that's what really identified the casual fan this time. They got to experience the eyes of our country through different people in a new way. You know, I took ranch for granted, or I took Waffle House for granted, you know, whatever the case may be. Now you're saying, oh, these things are really special, and it is kind of great to be here.
Yeah, who are the teams that you were really voting for? There were so many teams that had such cool stories. Who are your favorites to latch onto during the tournament?
Well, first of all, I think, you know, what gets twisted is the U.S. men's departure obviously was earlier than I think any of us would have wanted, but they were never going to win the World Cup. And I think that this was a good step forward for the men's national team, because I've said this before on the stream, that it's been the women over the last couple of years that, or couple decades really, that have just dominated the soccer space.
Yep, they're amazing.
Now it's the men who have at least taken a step forward. How can they grow? How can this become a bigger event? And I think with soccer growing in this country, it's only going to help. Cabo Verde was one of the best stories of the entire tournament. You have a 40-year-old goalkeeper who almost quit soccer right before the World Cup and decided to just go out there and play for a nation that has less people than he has Instagram followers now.
Oh my gosh,
I mean,
what a stat.
Truly insane. And so he's now been in an all-star game. The World Cup wasn't even over. Vizinha just is this global icon overnight. And you see, I think what's really cool is you see Americans now identifying with global superstars where I can't even begin to tell you the impact that these guys have. Erling Haaland, who played for Norway.
Oh my gosh, he was so fun.
He's a household name in America. Like, how did that happen? I mean, stuff like that, that's what I cheered for. I cheered for these individual players who now can have this otherworldly kind of impact. And I think that's very cool. It's what the World Cup does. And there's so many fun storylines, you know, all over this World Cup. It's similar to the Olympics in that way. You fall in love with the people that play the game. It's why sports is so incredible. And I think that it was on full display this summer.
It really was. There were so many cool news stories too, though.
No doubt.
The fact that Atlanta just shone so beautifully during this, I thought was really cool. Did you hear feedback from people saying, wow, Atlanta's actually pretty awesome?
Yeah, I mean, when you open up social media, you just get people saying, we got it wrong. We got it wrong. We thought that it was going to be a certain way, and we're so pleasantly surprised.
Oh, I love that. Yep.
And I think that, you know, as much as we're like, dang, you know, you didn't think very greatly of us, but if you hadn't been here, you don't know what Atlanta is like. And they're raving about the hospitality, how nice people are, how incredible our stadium is. I know it because I get to go all the time.
Yeah.
I have the fortune of going to what I believe is the best stadium in the world, and to see other people get to experience this is like minutia, but it's so funny. We get ice cream in the press box. So we have an ice cream machine, and all of us take it for granted because we get it all the time, you know, and we're like, oh, that's whatever. You see media members from around the world getting that ice cream, and it's like a whole new world. I mean, they have their phones out, they're doing videos. They're like, wait, I can have as much of this as I want. I mean, that stuff is what was really like delightful to me. Just to see people from all over the world see what we do every day through their eyes was just so fun. And I loved that people were out at the bars at 10 in the morning, making new friends, and also sharing their cultures with other people. It's just the coolest thing.
It really was. And you are just a must follow. I think if you are into sports at all, you definitely have to check out her feed. She has so much content, so many behind the scenes stories and videos and clips. I have loved following along with you through this World Cup. Thank you so much for all you did to make it shine.
Thank you. That means a lot. It was so much fun. I wish we could do it next year.
I know. Can we not? Can we Come on, bring it back.
2038 is the soonest we'll get it back, but we're just going to have to wait a while. I know.
All right, we're going to have to keep you around till then.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rhea, so much.
Thank
We really
you.
appreciate it.
Appreciate it.